verse of this song is one of the best chord workouts I've ever found in a song. Let me show you why.
I am Hans.
And I am Franz, and we just want to pop you off.
The whole verse runs one chord shape, but what happens underneath that shape is the thing worth understanding. Hey everyone, I'm AJ Hansen with Level Up Your Guitar. Tab sheet music is in the description. Private lesson link is down there too. Let's get into it. I went to see Christopher Cross in Toto live last December for my birthday. Awesome show. Would recommend. And walking out of there, I thought, I gotta teach some Christopher Cross. Now before we get into it, I want to tell you something that happened with one of my students recently. She was working on two songs that both had the A-shaped minor 7 chord, and it kept giving her trouble. Partly because in both songs, the chord only shows up once or twice. Not enough reps to really get it in the hands. So I said, try the verse of Ride Like the Wind. That chord is basically the whole verse taken to the extreme. Get comfortable with it there, and then go back to your songs. She did, and it worked. That's the thing about the verse in this arrangement. It's not just a cool guitar part, it's one of the best minor 7 chord workouts you're going to find in a real song. If that shape has ever given you trouble, this is the lesson that fixes it. The trickiest physical part is keeping the groove going with two independent parts, chords and a bass line that's first outlined in the intro. Alright, let's start there. Alright, here's how the intro goes. Alright, so the intro is very simple. It's almost entirely power chords with a couple pickup notes here and there. So we start on the and of beat 3, ring finger on the low E string 3rd fret, index on beat 4 on the A string 1st fret, and then you're going to go into a C5 power chord on the 3rd fret of the A string with the index finger, and I would recommend using your pinky on the D string 5th fret. The reason for that is when you use the ring finger, which is a stronger finger, you're going to be doing a lot of horizontal movement pretty quickly. That finger wants to grab tighter, so by using a weaker finger, you'll be able to glide horizontally a lot easier. So that C5 starts on the and beat 4, and then you're going to sustain it until the next and of beat 4 when you move to the B flat 5 power chord in the 1st fret. So you get and 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and. And you can see in the first 4 measures or so with the pickup measure, you're just going to be rocking up and back between C5 and B flat 5. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And then after that, on the next and of 4, you'll hit the A flat 5. So index on the E string 4th fret, pinky on the A string 6th fret. Then after the A flat 5, we're just going to go back to B flat 5, C5, and B flat 5. Now when you get to the final B flat 5, you'll just hold that until beat 3, then you get a rest, and then you got the same 3 pickup notes we played earlier, just without the power chord shape because we're going to go straight into the verse. So I'll start at the A flat 5 again, 3, 4. And when you do this maneuver, start with the ring finger on the 3rd fret, index on the 1st fret, and then bring that index finger up to the 3rd fret of the A string, because then we're going to go into our C minor 7 shape. So let me demonstrate the entire intro just a little bit slower. Alright, that was the intro. Now we'll go on to the verse, which I think this is kind of the heart of the song technique-wise. Here's what's actually happening here, and this is worth slowing down for. You're holding a C minor 7 shape, so you're going to bar your index finger across the 3rd fret, starting from the A string, and then your middle finger will be on the B string, 4th fret, and ring finger on the D string, 5th fret. And the sequence here, or the repetitive part, is just taking your minor 7 shape, which is going to be your middle and ring finger, strum that, and then take it off to just expose the bar finger. So this is in a million rock songs. What makes this interesting is he's reharmonizing this part with different bass notes. So that in itself is a really great workout where you're just holding this chord and you have a different bass note that changes the emotion or the feel or the vibe of the chords that are going on over top. So again, if we start at the very tail end of the intro, you'll play this root note of C, and that's going to tie into beat 1, and then you do your first minor 7 pull off there. And after that you'll play the bass note again and the same 2 chords again. So we've just done the same 2 motions twice, but the first time you're tying the bass note so it lasts a little longer. So in this section you're tying the bass note at the beginning so that it goes into beat 1, and then you're just repeating the same thing twice. And then after that, you play the same bass note one more time before your pinky comes in on this B flat note on the E string 6th fret. And you can see that B flat that we're playing there is also tied into beat 1 of the next measure, which changes the feel of our chord here, and you're going to find that at the end of each measure where it's tied into the next downbeat. So now you've got the pinky on the B flat, and then your middle and ring are going to do the exact same thing. And then your index finger is already barred for the C note right here, and then we go back to what we did at the beginning. So again, just like how we had the C to B flat 2 times in the intro, we're following C to B flat 2 times in the verse here. So here's the next pair of C to B flat bass line. So here, this A flat note, this is where it gets interesting. So you're coming from the B flat. You'll use your middle finger for the A flat on the E string 4th fret. Keep your bar here, you don't have to move it. But now you're going to kind of shove your ring and pinky over here to make the same shape that you were doing before with the middle and ring. So you're barring and using all 4 fingers here. And that is a workout in and of itself, just getting the independence and accuracy with the ring and pinky. So coming from the B flat, and once you've got that down, you go back to the pinky on B flat, index finger on C, pinky back on B flat. And then that'll link us back to the beginning. We'll repeat it all again. So let me demonstrate that slowly. So after the repeat, you'll take the second ending, and it's on the pinky B flat. And then you've got an 8th note rest on the downbeat of beat 4, and then in anticipation to the next downbeat, you'll play this A flat 6. So that's middle finger on the E string 4th fret, index on the D string 3rd fret, pinky on the G string 5th fret, and then ring finger on the B string 4th fret. And that gets us up to the pre-chorus. So let me demonstrate the second ending with that A flat 6. And you'll sustain that A flat 6 for a total of 4 beats, but syncopated. So that covers the entire verse with both repeats. Now let me show you how the pre-chorus goes. The pre-chorus is a bit of a breather compared to the verse. You're holding and sustaining chords here, the A flat 6 and the G minor 7. Let them ring. The temptation is to rush into the next section, but the sustain is the vibe, and holding the chords lets it feel settled. Then it releases back into the verse rhythm with the C to B flat. So we'll get through this pretty quickly. As I've already stated, the A flat 6, you're going to play that on the and of beat 4 and sustain it until the next and of beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and. Now the G minor 7, we'll just play this with 2 fingers, and we'll use this shape later in the song. So middle finger on the low E, 3rd fret, and then ring finger is going to bar across the D, G, and B strings, also in the 3rd fret. And that also lands on the and of beat 4, and you'll hold that for the entire next measure. 2, 3, 4. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. It doesn't change on the and of beat 4, so it breaks that groove, and you have to wait until the downbeat of beat 1 to play the A flat 6 again. And you'll hold that until the and of beat 4 and go back to the G minor 7. And that'll sustain until the downbeat of beat 3. So I'll demonstrate this much. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I did a little extra. Sue me.
How dare you!
So that little cluster's back again. Ring finger on 3, index on 1, index again on 3, so you're ready to do the C minor 7 again. And the next 4 measures you've already played here, so we'll cook through that. So I'll demonstrate the entire pre-chorus just a little bit slower. If you want me to walk you through songs like this one-on-one, I do private lessons at levelupyourguitar.com. I only take a handful of new students at a time. If this sounds like the right fit, apply for a free trial lesson. Links in the description. All right, time for the chorus. You know this part. The da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Awesome. Let's check it out. In the chorus, you're going to be doing a lot of barring here, especially on the D, G, and B strings at the same fret with either the ring finger or the index finger. So right off the bat, we've got a C minor 7, all on the 8th fret. But you already did that in the pre-chorus with the G minor 7. Same thing. So for the C minor 7, again, it's middle finger on the 8th fret on the low E string, and then ring finger covering the D, G, and B strings, also in the 8th fret. And beat 1 is a rest, and then you've got and 2 and 3. Then what I like to do here is break that position and bar this E flat triad with my index finger. And that'll be on the and a beat 4 and the and a beat 1. And then you can just scoot that up to the 10th fret on the and a beat 2. And then on the and a beat 3, bar across the 4 skinny strings, and then you're basically making a minor triad on top here. So middle finger on the B string 11th fret, ring finger on the G string 12th fret, and you'll strum from the 4th string down. So starting from the E flat triad, so that's a good little cluster to practice right there, because this G minor chord is a bit weird if you haven't seen it before. So let me demonstrate the first 2 measures. 3, 4. Now the next time around, we're using all the same chords, but we're shuffling the order a bit. So we start on the C minor 7, and 2 and 3. Back to the E flat triad, but now you go to this G minor chord, and then release the middle and ring finger to go back to just the F triad with the index finger. And then those 2 measures together. And now, again, same chords, but now it's going to walk all the way up and then walk down, plus a different inversion of the F major triad. And again, starting on the C minor 7 and 2 and 3. Switch to E flat with the index. 10th fret for F. Then the G minor. And this will be on the and of 3 and on the and of 4, sustained into beat 1. And then again on the and of beat 1. So let me put that in context, because all the syncopation, it's easy to get lost. And now, take off the middle and ring, and we'll start walking our way down from here to here. So index on the 10th fret for F. Play it 2 times on the offbeats, then down to the 8th fret for E flat. Play that 2 times on the offbeats. And then this final F major triad, you can take that 8th fret bar chord, just move it down, and then add the middle finger on the B string 6th fret, and then ring finger on the D string 7th fret. It's basically just the minor 7 shape again. So starting from the 10s, and let that ring a little bit. So I'll demonstrate all 4 of those measures. 2, 3, 4, 1. One more time, a little slower. So once you've reached the end there, it goes back to the beginning, repeats, and then on the second ending, it's exactly the same. It looks different here. For some reason, Guitar Pro won't let me put in tied markings because it ties back into this note back here. So it looks different, but it's exactly the same as here. And then we've got the 3-1-3 again. So let me demonstrate the entire chorus again, a little slower. Alright, the solo section. Now I'm not going to walk you through the solo note for note. Here's why. I've seen in Christopher Cross's interviews that in this section it's meant to be improvised. And I think he even said like, yeah, just stick in C minor and just burn through it. So we're going to stay true to that spirit. So what I'm going to do instead is show you the 3 scales from the sheet music that work over this section. These are the ingredients. What you do with them, that's all yours. So the first scale out of the bunch is the trusty C minor pentatonic. So you'll be in the 8th fret, and you'll go 8, 11, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 11, 8, 11. You probably know this if you're willing to attempt the solo. The second scale is still a C minor pentatonic, but it has some Dorian notes in it. And I chose to keep it almost exactly the same except for the 2 skinny strings where you'd normally have 8, 11, 8, 11. So you have this little rectangle shape. And one way if you're only used to soloing in pentatonic, but you're like, well, I kind of want to lean into like the scales or the modes. If you're using a Dorian sound, you can just add the ring finger to each fret. So instead of having 8, 11, 8, 11, you would have 8, 10, 11, 8, 10, 11. Because that gives you the options to do little half-step bends. That sounds very good over this type of thing. And then the final scale is the extended C minor pentatonic. So it's still rooted around the original pentatonic, but we're actually going to shift down and go 6, 8, 6, 8, and then slide to 10 with the ring finger. Oops.
What have I done?
So one thing that you can think of if you want to visualize it, the 6, 8, 6, 8 is like a pan, and the slide is the handle. So it kind of looks like a pan. Then you move to the D string, do the exact same move. So you've got another pan there. And then when you get to the B string, you have to jump to the 11th fret and do the same move. So you've got 3 pans stacked up. Quick note before I go over the solo section, I hit a wrong button and I stopped recording, and then I had to render it before I had to start over again. So I don't remember exactly what I said before, but we're just going to jump into the solo section with the 3 scales and we'll go from there. My bad.
I am a little disappointed.
So let me attempt one improvised solo using these 3 scales so you can see what is open to you. Alright, so there's a take of me just improvising the solo, trying to match the energy, just like ripping through all those scales as much as possible. But say that you don't shred like that, even across pentatonic scales in kind of a bluesy fashion, you can still get a lot of cool sounds out of just sustaining notes and just playing what you know. Let me demonstrate that. So if you play more like that, do it anyway. It'll sound good. Let your notes sustain. Try and play as lyrically as possible, but you can approach it either way. And I tried to hit a little bit of each scale so you can see that you don't need to shred if you can't do that yet, but you'll be able to sooner than you realize. And again, with the minor pentatonic scale, if you're used to playing that scale, use what you know. The extended one, if you want to cover a lot of ground very quickly, that's a cool way to do it, and it gets you into those upper frets a little bit more if you wanted to sing and be a little bit more dramatic up in the stratosphere. And then for the one with the Dorian notes in there, I would recommend doing like half-step bends. That always sounds cool. That's a very cool sound that I love. I actually got turned on to that style playing from Ty Tabor from King's X. I think he does that type of stuff a lot. But the main thing with that scale is that gives you some tension and more of an exotic flavor than just the standard pentatonic thing. So you can really lean into those notes on the 10th fret. And it'll expand your vocabulary a little bit more. So pick a scale that sounds right to your ear and just have fun with it. And there you have it, Ride Like the Wind by Christopher Cross. If this helped you level up, hit the like button and subscribe. I drop fresh lessons every week. Sheet music is in the description. Private lesson link is down there too. When you want more intermediate chords and strumming songs, check out the playlist here. Keep playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.
Anything by Christopher Cross. Little chubby guy, funny voice, always amusing. Once in your life, always sounds like he's driving by, the guy. Me. Thank you, Chris.